Hello everyone, this is Dr. Anjali Srivastava, retired zoology professor, and this is my YouTube channel Adarsh. Our today's topic is the next topic in the series of the environmental science, that is water conservation. This topic, water conservation, is a very important topic for your environmental science, and I have found that for as the students are requesting for Hindi as well as English notes. So previously, before this water conservation topic, मैंने जितने भी वीडियोस बनाए एनवायरमेंटल साइंस के मैंने एक साथ हिंदी और इंग्लिश में कवर करने की कोशिश की है बट चूंकि लड़कियों ने रिक्वेस्ट किया स्पेशली हिंदी के लिए और वाटर कंजर्वेशन एक ऐसा टॉपिक है जिस पर हम बातें बहुत ज्यादा भी कर सकते हैं बहुत कम भी कर सकते हैं पर अगर आपको नोट्स बनाने हैं तो डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ स्ट्रैटेजीज के लिए हिंदी और इंग्लिश में अलग अलग एक साथ मिला करके ये बहुत लंबा हो जाता है तो इसलिए हिंदी में और इंग्लिश में वाटर कंजर्वेशन मैंने अलग अलग बनाने की कोशिश की है सो टूडेज आवर टॉपिक इज वाटर कंजर्वेशन ये वीडियो इंग्लिश में ही मैं बना रही हूँ इसमें इंग्लिश में ही नोट्स हैं दो वाइल स्पीकिंग मैं इंग्लिश हिंदी मिला करके ही बोलूंगी क्योंकि मुझे लगता है आपको ज्यादा समझ में आएगा एंड हिंदी वाला मैं बहुत शॉर्ट रखूंगी सो लेट अस कम टू द टॉपिक वाटर कंजर्वेशन वाटर क्या है ये हम जानते हैं पानी हमारे लिए जो प्राकृतिक संसाधन है नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट indispensable natural renewable resource it is considered हम इसको मानते भी consider that it is a renewable resource but is it so yet no because this water is available in a limited range on earth for the usable water rather हम जानते हैं कि जितना भी water the water amount available on water 95% of which is rather 97% of that overall water available is oceanic water or the marine or the salty water which cannot be used by the living things for their day-to-day metabolic activities so the the rest of the 3% out of that rest of 3%, 2% is the locked water in form of the snow and the in the form of snow in the glaciers and such areas, whereas the usable water, fresh water, which is the required for the day-to-day life, day-to-day activities, all the activities on the earth, is merely 1%, and that 1% is now being exhausted day to day in such an uncontrolled matter that now this is not no uh, अब ये नहीं रह गया है renewable resource की जगह because it is going to be consumed by 2052 it is the surveys the reports are saying that by 2052, the entire consumable water, such this fresh water is going to be consumed by the exploring population. So that water the has to be conserved for the sustainable development. We are continuously going on looking into the last videos how much water is responsible. So let us come to the topic. Water conservation is the practice of using water efficiency to reduce unnecessary water uses. Water के unnecessary यूज को हटाना ही वाटर कंजर्वेशन है क्योंकि वाटर को हम पैदा नहीं कर सकते हैं वाटर को जो ऑफ कोर्स हम लोग लेबोरेटरीज में बना रहे हैं पर ऐसा नहीं बना रहे हैं कि उससे हमारी डे टू डे नीड्स पूरी होंगी सो वी हैव टू कंजर्व द वाटर दैट इज अवेलेबल ऑन अर्थ फॉर द our all day-to-day activities of the entire living world, not only human beings. As we are thinking कि water तो हमारी commodity हो गई है, not for the community. So that thinking has to be removed. That thinking has to be leave because according to the Freshwater Watch, water conservation is important because fresh, clean water is now becoming very, very limited resource, and of course, it is also becoming costly one. as conservation of this natural resource is critical for the environment and our wallets. ना सिर्फ environment के लिए बल्कि हमारे wallets के लिए, अगर environment में नहीं रहेगा तो हम लाएंगे कहाँ से? हमें commercially खरीद खरीद के लाना होगा, तो हमारी जेब, हमारा इकोनॉमी, सब कुछ अफेक्टेड हो रहा है पानी को कंजर्व नहीं करने से। अभी भी समय है। पानी का जो रिसोर्स है, बिकॉज वाई वी कंसिडर इट एज, वाई वी हैव कंसिडर्ड इट एज अ नेचुरल रिन्यूएबल रिसोर्स, बिकॉज एक डेफिनेट साइकिल में अगर ये नेचुरल रिसोर्स चलता रहे तो पानी धरती पे आती है, बरसात होती है तो क्लाउड बरसते हैं धरती पर, रेनी सीजन में बारिश होती है, that water undergoes this is the underground water, the water coming, this is sunlight, it is the water is evaporating from everywhere, from the river, from the streams, from the ocean, from where, everywhere it is evaporating, and it is going precipitating then again, and in this way this is the groundwater, and in this way the cycle is going on, and the water is was considered to be that it is going on renewing. But with the increasing deforestation and overuse of the water for the commercialization, for the agriculture, for the domestic use, these are the three main resources जहाँ पर पानी, three main ways or three main routes where root causes जहाँ पर पानी का, where पानी is water is so much used that it is now becoming exhausted completely. So that has to be conserved, and these are the, under these headings we are going to see the entire chapter or this video. What are the aims of water conservation? What are the strategies of water conservation? What are the social solutions? What are the parameters which we can acquire at this, on the society level or on the personal levels? Then how to control and commercial applications? Then agriculture, which is the most important, is said to be that on the agriculture, at least the countries like India, which are the agricultural based countries, the main resource lifeline of our economy and life of the entire our community is the agriculture, which is fully depending upon the natural resource, this natural resource, that is the water. Then water has to be reused, जो पानी हम यूज कर रहे हैं उसको फिर से reuse कैसे करें? It is coming, and the majority of the water coming back on the ground is being wasted. Now in the early time, in the ancient time, 300 BC के बाद up to 18th century, जो पानी पृथ्वी पर आ रहा था, जब तक साइंस एंड मॉडर्नाइजेशन एंड अर्बनाइजेशन एंड डेवलपमेंट एंड इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन was not so much developed, the entire in spite of those misuses, the water was available at the renewable resources. But after the advent of the 19th century, with the extreme modernization, urbanization, industrialization, the water has been exhausted like anything. And now it is good that the entire world is concentrating on this fact to conserve more water. This is a painting I have got in Google, and this is how, these are the ways how water can be conserved, and these are the important areas where the water is used. This water has to be, this is our earth, and it is crying, it is shouting, save water. Now, the wasting of water has to be controlled. Problem areas where we will see, and water reuse, how we will do. To start with the aims of water conservation efforts include ensuring the availability of water for future generations. We are looking, in the last video we have seen sustainable development. Water resources has to be sustained, where the withdrawal of fresh water from an ecosystem does not exceed its natural replacement rate. Then energy conservation, as water pumping, delivery, and wastewater treatment facilitates consume a significant amount of energy. In some regions of the world, over 15% of total electricity consumption is devoted to water management. Water is not only used in domestic, social, industrial, agricultural areas. Rather, it is also being used in the energy management, energy productions also in the at the global level. And at all these levels, the excess use of water has to be avoided, has to be controlled. Habitat conservation, where minimizing human water uses helps to preserve freshwater habitats for local wildlife and migrating waterfowl, but also water quality. So, biodiversity, to maintain the biodiversity, also, we have to conserve water. So, these are the areas in which the water conservation will play a very important role. Now, the strategies to conserve the water. The key activities to conserve water are following: any beneficial reduction in water loss, use and waste of resources. कुछ भी हम करें जो रोज हम हैंड वॉशिंग में ही हम इतना सारा पानी बहा देते हैं. So we have to see, we have to conserve water in each and every walk of life, starting from our morning life when we begin till we sleep. We have to see each and every activities, every strategies, the being say very small, looking very small, very primitive, to the larger areas like the commercialization and the industrialization, every in every area. Avoiding any damage to water quality, water की क्वालिटी को भी बचाना है, वाटर के वेस्टेज को भी बचाना है. छोटे छोटे लीक्स, बहुत ही छोटी सी वजह दिखती है जिस जो हमें समझ में ही नहीं आती है. एंड दिस इज अ वेरी सरप्राइजिंग सर्वे दैट इन द डेवलप्ड countries, this small level of water leaking problem is where 3% has been reported, whereas it is reported 45% in India. So we can imagine we are the developing country, one of the developing country, and how much wasting of water we are doing. Improving water management practices that reduce the use or enhance of the beneficial use of water. Then so many strategies we will go in, we will just look water. One of which is rainwater harvesting. Harvesting and watershed management पर आपके सिलेबस में अलग से मेंशन किया हुआ है, और वो हम अलग से एक एक वीडियो में देख लेंगे. Other practices we are going to see into this video only. Digging ponds, lakes, canals, expanding the water reservoir, पानी को रिजर्व करके रखने के लिए reservoirs, man-made reservoirs are very much needed now, and installing rainwater catching ducts and filtration system on homes are different methods of harvesting rainwater. Many people in many countries keep clean containers so that they can boil it and drink it, which is useful to supply water to the needy. अब पानी की स्थिति ऐसी भी होने लगी है कि रेन वाटर को स्टोर करके बड़े बड़े जार्स में, टैंकर्स में उनको बॉयल करके यूज में लाना पड़ रहा है. सो वी हैव टू बिकम वेरी 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 अलर्ट to conserve the water. Harvesting and filtered rainwater can be used for toilets, home gardening, lawn irrigation, small scale agriculture. At our home level, we can do these strategies we can acquire to conserve water at the very small level. बूंद बूंद करके पानी का घड़ा भरता है. और ये भी कहा गया है कि रेमन पानी राखिए बिन पानी सब सूनिए. पानी कहीं किसी अर्थ में यूज होता है, साहित्य में पानी रखने का कुछ और अर्थ होता है, बट वही पानी हर तरह से उसी तरह यूजफुल है. Another strategy in water conservation is protecting groundwater resources. Groundwater resources, जो as we have seen in the very early slide, पानी का हमने पहले ही देखा था कि ये जो ग्राउंड वाटर है, इस ग्राउंड वाटर को ही जब पानी बरसात में ही पानी पृथ्वी को in rainy season only the majority of the water is coming back, which is supposed to be flow to the ground. And that reserve water that can be that is supposed to be used in the entire year as the groundwater reserve, and that groundwater reserve system is very much disturbed. बहुत सारे pollutions की वजह से, बहुत सारे हमारे गलत practices, mal practices कहिए या faulty practices कहिए, जिसकी वजह से हमारा deforestation कहिए, population explosion की कहिए. We have already seen in the last videos what are the problem issues related with the natural resources. All those are causing heavy erosion of the soil, and that is affecting very badly the groundwater reserve of our earth. So that has to be controlled. So these are the measures how the groundwater storation is becoming very poor. And it is now, these are the importance of the water conservation. That this is going to be so long the video, so we have to cut short. Now the in this another strategies in water conservation is protecting groundwater resources. When precipitation occurs, that is जब बारिश होती है या पानी ऊपर से किसी भी वजह से धरती पर जो पानी आता है वो precipitate होकर के उसको ग्राउंड पे जाना बहुत जरूरी है वाटर रिजर्व को कंट्रोल करने के लिए, जो कि अब बहुत बुरी तरह affected हो रहा है. Some infiltrates the soil and goes underground. Water in this saturation zone is called as groundwater. Contamination of groundwater cause the groundwater supply to not be able to be used as a resource of fresh drinking water. सिर्फ यही नहीं कि पानी का ग्राउंड वाटर का रिजर्व खत्म हो रहा है, वो वाटर बहुत तरह के हमारे प्रैक्टिसेस की वजह से, इरोशन की वजह से, गलत केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर्स की यूज की वजह से जो नीचे जो जा रहा है वो contaminated भी हो रहा है, polluted भी हो रहा है. And that polluted water, when we are taking out through the wells and different other ways, we are using for the irrigation and drinking and domestic and purposes, that is causing a great harm to our health. And thus that contaminated groundwater can take years to replenish. Depleted water हो रहा है जिसको replenish करने में बहुत बहुत समय लगेगा, और अगर हम ध्यान नहीं देंगे तो वो होगा ही नहीं. Some examples of potential resources of groundwater contamination include storage tanks, septic systems, uncontrolled hazardous waste, landfills. These are the certain reasons how this groundwater is becoming contaminated. Atmospheric contaminants, chemicals, and road salts. Contamination of groundwater decreases the replenishment of available fresh water. So, take preventive measures by protecting groundwater resources from contamination is an important aspect of groundwater. So, here is the groundwater, and these are the typical routes of groundwater contamination. This is showing. So, this diagram is showing how the groundwater is becoming contaminated. An additional strategy to water conservation is practicing sustainable methods of utilizing groundwater resources. Groundwater resources को कैसे हम utilize कर सकते हैं, इसके लिए बहुत सारे different methods we are supposed to utilize in our day-to-day practices. And we have to avoid certain measures, certain actions like excess pumping of groundwater that leads to a decrease in groundwater levels, and if continued, it can exhaust the resource. Ground and surface waters are connected, and overuse of groundwater can reduce and it extreme examples diminish the water supply of lakes, rivers, streams, etc. ग्राउंड वाटर का अगर कंट्रोल यूज नहीं हमने शुरू किया तो अब ये तो हो ही रहा है. कितनी नदियां नालों में बदल रही हैं, कितने झील, तालाब, पोखर तो खत्म ही हो चुके हैं. In coastal regions, over-pumping groundwater increases saltwater intrusion, resulting in the contamination of the groundwater supply. Fundamental component to water conservation strategy is communication and education outreach of different water programs. This is the strategy, or this is the way how we can control this water conservation in कंटिन्यूअस वे. एग्जॉस्टिंग वाटर को हम कैसे रोक सकते हैं, उसके लिए एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट तरीका है एजुकेशन. नाउ दीज आर सम ऑफ द anthropogenic water uses which are causing the scarcity of water which is resulting. और ये ग्राउंड वाटर प्रोटेक्शन का मेथड है जो कहीं किसी एक पर्टिकुलर जयपुर की एक सिटी में यूटिलाइज किया गया था. That we can see in the forthcoming videos if we get the time. Otherwise, एक इसमें it is going to be a very long video. So I'm trying to curtail as much as possible. Now, diverted water fields, these are the different methods or the steps which are either the reasons of the water deep pollution, contamination, and water exhaustion and water decrease. And these are the way to conserve the water. This is the water cycle, how naturally the water is becoming, that we have already seen. Now, the conservation of water is extremely important in order to preserve wildlife habitats. बायोडायवर्सिटी के लिए भी पानी का कंजर्वेशन इक्वली इम्पोर्टेंट है. और बायोडायवर्सिटी तभी रहेगा जब फॉरेस्ट रहेंगे, फॉरेस्ट तभी रहेंगे जब वाटर रहेगा. देयर आर मेनी ऑर्गेनिजम्स इन द टेम्परेट रीजन हु आर अफेक्टेड बाय शॉर्टेजेस इन वाटर, and many freshwater organisms are increasingly feeling the impacts of water pollution as it disrupts the ecosystem. पूरा ecosystem disturb हो रहा है. Now, these are the examples you can go through. Now, the social solutions, water conservation or programs involved in social solution are typically initiated at the local level, either by municipal water utilities or regional governments. सेंट्रल लेवल पे, स्टेट लेवल पे, सोशल लेवल पे, ग्राम पंचायत के लेवल पे बहुत सारे प्रोग्राम्स इंट्रोड्यूस किए जा रहे हैं टू कंजर्व द वाटर. इंडिया में भी और पूरे वर्ल्ड में डिफरेंट लेवल्स पे वाटर बॉडीज बनाई जा रही हैं, वाटर मैनेजमेंट बोर्ड्स बनाए जा रहे हैं टू कंट्रोल द अनकंट्रोल्ड एग्जॉशन ऑफ दिस वाटर रिसोर्स. Now, these are the reasons. One fundamental goal is inversing water metering. किन किन तरीकों से हम वाटर कंजर्वेशन को कर सकते हैं सोशल लेवल पे, डोमेस्टिक लेवल पे, that we are going to see into the upcoming slides. These are the slides. The languages are for your notes. We will go see the in very small points now. The agriculture, some researchers suggested water conservation efforts should be primarily directed at farmers. ये भी बहुत बड़ा कंफ्यूजन एंड कंट्रोवर्सी, कंट्राडिक्टरी स्टेटमेंट है. फार्मर्स को जो बिजली में, पानी में इतनी सारी सब्सिडीज देते चली जा रही हैं सरकारें, तो ये जरूरी है. एक तरफ तो ये जरूरी भी है क्योंकि फार्मर्स के ही, आवर कंट्री इज एग्रीकल्चर बेस्ड, बट फार्मर्स उसके लिए बहुत लापरवाही से भी यूज कर रहे हैं. ना वो पानी को बचाने पे ज्यादा ध्यान दे रहे हैं, ना बिजली को बचाने पे ज्यादा ध्यान दे रहे हैं. And both are interconnected processes. If energy has to be used, the subsidies in electricity and water consumptions and so much subsidies are somewhere harming this water resource heavily. So that subsidies are required somewhere. So it is suggested that the metered level or the three-tiered, तीन टायरों में, that is the three-tiered steps must be taken to consume the water and the energy. जहाँ जरूरत है ज्यादा सब्सिडी की वहां दिया जाए, जहाँ जरूरत नहीं है वहां कंट्रोल किया जाए. Now, the technological attempts are there for consumers. Features such as full flush and half flush when using a toilet are trying to make a difference. So these are the languages जिसको हम points में we will see further. यहाँ पे हम points में देख लेते हैं. ये language में आप देख सकते हैं. हम these are the very small things. कैसे कैसे हम पानी को यूज करके बचा सकते हैं. Low flow shower heads, sometimes called energy efficient shower heads, use less energy and conserve water also. Low flush toilets, composting toilets, and incinerating toilets, these have a dramatic impact on the development world. Conventional western flush toilets use large volume of water. तो जो अभी तक conventional flush system है उसमें बहुत सारे छोटे छोटे चेंजेस करके कोशिश की जा रही है. उनके दो डिविजन्स किए जा रहे हैं. हैवी वाटर फ्लश अलग किया जा रहा है, कम पानी को अलग किया जा रहा है. कम पानी के यूज करने के लिए यूरिनल्स में पानी का यूज कम से कम किया जाए, वो कोशिश की जा रही है. देन एक छोटा सा मेजर आई हैव रेड समवेयर कि अगर नॉर्मल फ्लश सिस्टम है तो उसमें ब्रिक की तरह का वाटर एब्जॉर्बिंग कुछ चीजें डाल करके भी थोड़ा थोड़ा ही करके पानी बचाया जा सकता है. Then faucet aerators breaking water flow into fine droplets maintain wetting effectiveness. That is that use of the brick-like structures that can be reduced splashing while washing hands and dishes. Raw water flushing where toilets use seawater or non-purified water, that is the grey water. एक और टेक्नोलॉजी दैट अभी हम आने वाली स्लाइड्स में देखेंगे, डेवलप करने की कोशिश की जा रही है ग्रे वाटर से. इस तरह के जो नॉन डोमेस्टिक यूज हैं, जो खाने को के अलावा लॉन्ड्री के लिए यूज किया जाए, गार्डनिंग के लिए यूज किया जाए, एंड डिफरेंट अदर टॉयलेट्स में यूज किया जाए, इस तरह के पानी के लिए. सैलिनेशन, डीसैलिनेशन, मेरीन वाटर तो बहुत ज्यादा है. अब नेचुरल मनुष्य का स्वभाव है कि अब जो नहीं मिल रहा है वो खत्म हो रहा है, तो जो मिल रहा है उसकी तरफ बढ़े. तो ये भी एक नया मेथड अपनाया गया है ग्रे वाटर से. सॉरी, purification of this gray water, that is the desalination of saline water को यूज कर, recycling of the water, used water, जो salty water डे टू डे यूज इंडस्ट्रीज एफ्लुएंट्स वगैरह में जो वाटर सॉल्टी होता जा रहा है, ग्राउंड वाटर में जो हेवी मेटल्स मिक्स होते चले जा रहे हैं काफी ज्यादा वाटर इरिगेट एक्सट्रैक्ट करने से, तो उन सॉल्टी वाटर को या मेरीन वाटर को डिसैलिनेट करके different use में लाया जा सके. That is one of the method. Wastewater reuse or recycling system allowing reuse of grey water for flushing toilets and watering gardens. Recycling of wastewater through purification at a water treatment plant. Then high efficiency cloth washers, front load washing machine को सबसे ज्यादा water friendly कहा जाता है. Water based irrigation controllers, garden hose nozzles that shut off the water when it is not being used. Swimming pool covers reducing evaporation can warm pool water. Automatic faucet is a water conservation faucet that eliminates water waste at the faucet. So these are the ways how that water can be used. Now, rainwater flushing where toilets use seawater or non-purified. Again, this is the grey water plant system. Then smart water meters are also a promising technology. Water metering की जाए, that has been implemented in majority of countries, और ये एक बहुत स्टेप, अच्छा फ्रूटफुल स्टेप बहुत जगह प्रूफ भी हुआ है कि वाटर की मीटरिंग करके वाटर को चार्जेबल बनाया जाए. और यहीं पे 3 टायर्ड सिस्टम हम इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकते हैं इवन फॉर फार्मर्स इन इरिगेशन एग्रीकल्चर ऑल्सो, कि एक लिमिट तक पानी के यूज को फ्री किया जाए, जिससे जैसे यूज बढ़े वैसे वैसे चार्जेस और ड्यूटीज हेवी किए जाएं. दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द टायर्ड 3 tiered application or the way to control the water conservation. Now, the commercial applications of the water is many water saving devices use, such as low flush toilets. टॉयलेट्स में अब बहुत तरह के जो पहले पानी से भर भर करके टॉयलेट्स में यूज किया जाता था, दैट सिस्टम हैज बीन कन्वर्टेड टू द फ्लश सिस्टम. दैट वाज आल्सो यूजिंग एवरी टाइम around 20 gallon water was being used. That has been stopped or checked to a considerable amount using these shower like low shower like showers in the bathrooms, the pressurized water brooms which can be used instead of a hose to clean sidewalks, X-ray film processor recirculating systems, cooling tower conductivity controllers, water saving team sterilizers for the hospital and healthcare facilities, rainwater harvesting, water to water heat exchangers, then watershed management. There are a lot of ways which through which we can control or enhance the water conservation. Now, water is very important part of irrigation. Different types of irrigations are there, different crops of irrigations are there. And in the area of irrigation also, by making gullies, by making the bamboo drips, by making different ways of the controlling the irrigation, That is water crop irrigation. Optimal water efficiency means minimizing losses due to evaporation, runoff, subsurface drainage while maximizing production. There are a number of ways being used over roof water system. This is the irrigation system. These are certain steps. How drip irrigation, एक एक बूंद पानी से जो फसल से ऐसे लगाया जाए जिनमें जितनी जरूरत हो उतना ही exactly water root tak pahunchaya jaye. This is the drip irrigation that is also being done with the help of the bamboo pipes, and that is the drip करके इरिगेट करके प्लांट्स को डेवलप किया जाए, एग्रीकल्चर्स को. देन ओवरहेड इरिगेशन, कोशिश की जाती है कि शेडिंग करके ओवरहेड अर्ली सीजन, मिड सीजन एंड लेट सीजन्स में ओवरहेडिंग करके इरिगेशन से को अपना से वाटर को कंजर्व भी किया जाए एंड क्रॉप्स भी ऑब्टेन किए जाएं. The 2011 UNEP Green Economy Reports notes that improved soil organic matter from the use of green manures, mulching, and recycling of crop residues and animal manure increases the water holding capacity of soils and their ability to absorb water during torrential rains, which is a way to optimize the use of rainfall and irrigation during dry periods of the season. सो दीज आर द डिफरेंट. एक एक स्टेप को अभी हम बहुत ज्यादा डिटेल देखने लगे तो इट विल टेक a very long video, so we are minimizing here. You can go through the points for your notes, and if you require any point to be mentioned or clarified separately, we are ready. We can see strategies separately, the methods and technology separately. हर चीज का एक अलग वीडियो बन सकता है, but we don't have that much time. Now, the another method of conserving water is water reuse. जो भी पानी यूज हो रहा है, we are cleaning the vegetables, we are cleaning the domestic materials, the kitchen materials like the rice and pulses. These waters can be reused into the plantations. Then the students really have got a very good account of water strategies, how we can control the water, conserve water rather, in different technologies, through different technologies जो पहले पुराने समय से आज और भी एडवांस तरीके से में यूज किया जा रहा है. So that if I'll get time and if you require, we will see in the next video. That is the water loss management, water system management, loss minimization, metering, conservation rate structure, then gullying, then so many uh, technologies and irrigation systems. We have seen percolation tanks, then clay pot and porous capsule irrigation. There are a lot of PLDs, porous landscape detention designing, then super absorbent polymer, that is SAPs की यूज से पानी को हम लोग कंजर्व कर सकते हैं. कि क्या है सुपर एब्जॉर्बमेंट. सो दीज technologies we can discuss separately if you require. Extended detention methods like wetland treatment system, water management strategies. So these are a lot of things that we can use separate. We can see separately if you require. Some of the details, so I will write in the description box, of course, because the video is becoming so and so large. Now the problem is areas. तो हमने पानी देखा कि पानी को कैसे बचाएं, पानी को किन किन तरीकों से डोमेस्टिक लेवल पे बचाएं, कमर्शियलाइजेशन के लेवल पे बचाएं, इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन के लेवल पे बचाएं, how water can be reused. And now the problem areas, which are the areas which are to be centered to control this water resource that is continuously exhausting. The some of the important areas are wasting of water. हर जगह हम देखें, ब्रशिंग से लेकर के छोटी छोटी चीजों के लिए, इवन हम अपना फेस वॉश कर रहे हैं तो पानी बह रहा है. So it is better that we should use in the glasses, mugs, buckets water, and that should be controlled. एक मेथड मैंने पढ़ा कि पहले पुराने जमाने में खाट जो निवाड़ के से बिने हुए खाट होते थे, उन पर बच्चों को बिठा के और नीचे एक टब वगैरह रख दिया जाता था, बच्चों को नहलाया जाता था. सो फ्रॉम द वेरी एंशियंट टाइम, the our elders were knowing that this situation is going to come, but we didn't take care, and the conditions are worsening. So still the time hasn't gone. We can uh, achieve the water conservation. uh, we can achieve the water as renewable resource still, by using so many things and by avoiding so many problematic areas. Wasting of water is the flip side of water conservation and household applications. It means causing or permitting discharge of water without any practical purpose. Inefficient water use is also considered wasteful by EPA estimate, that is Environment Protection Act estimate. Household leaks in यूएस, सब जगह यूएस में तो फिर भी बहुत कंट्रोल है. हमारे यहाँ का हम अपनी चिंता करें, हम तो बिल्कुल ही कोई कंट्रोल नहीं कर रहे हैं. हमारे यहाँ तो जितना ज्यादा पॉपुलेशन है और जितना कम हमारे पास रिसोर्सेज हैं, उतना ही हम वेस्टेज कर रहे हैं. सो दैट हैज टू बी कंट्रोल्ड. Definition of water waste is often given in local drought emergency ordinances. One example refers to any act or omission, whether sorry, willful or नेग्लिजेंसी से हो या जानबूझ करके करें. वी आर, कहीं पानी से बह रहा है, कहीं पे लीकेजेस हैं, वाटर पाइप फट रहा है, वाटर इज फ्लो और रनिंग टू वेस्ट इनटू एनी गटर, सैनिटरी सीवर, वाटर कोर्स और पब्लिक और प्राइवेट स्टॉर्म ड्रेन्स और एनी एडजेसेंट प्रॉपर्टी फ्रॉम एनी टैप, होज, फॉसेट, पाइप, स्प्रिंकलर, पॉन्ड, पूल, वाटरवे, फाउंडेशन और नोजल. These are the ways which can be used to control the excessive flow of water. Sorry. Water utilities often provide listing of wasteful water use practices and provision of wasteful uses. So, strictly speaking, water that is discharged into the sewer or directly to the environment is not wasted or lost. It remains within the hydrologic cycle and returns to the land surface and surface water bodies as precipitation. So, precipitation is the way in which the ground water can be recharged, but this precipitation is being adversely affected due to the different types of wrong practices obtained by us. In many cases, the source of water is at a significant distance from the return point and may be in a different catchment. The catchment areas are the ingoing of the water flow that we can see. बहुत सारे तरीके हैं. That is have to be a little short. So we, in the next video, if we get time, we can see how the technological methods से, different irrigation methods से, different agricultural methods से पानी को हम, how water can be conserved in a number of ways. So expression of efficiency is referred as economic efficiency and is incorporated into the concept of water conservation that requires a lot of attention everywhere. Hand wash करने से लेके, face wash करने से लेके, industries में प्रोडक्शंस करने से लेकर के, घर में खाना बनाने से लेकर के, everywhere the water has to be conserved. Water conservation आप सोसाइटी के लेवल पे, फैमिली के लेवल पे, इंडिविजुअल लेवल पे, स्टेट के लेवल पे, नेशन के लेवल पे और ग्लोबली, water has to be conserved, and that is only not sufficient. Extra water for the overpopulated earth, how it can be obtained, the scientists or environmentalists are also working on this. So let's hope for the all the wellness, all the recovery of the lost water, जिसको हम renewable फिर से continue कर सकें. So I think do like, share and subscribe the channel if you like it. आपके नोट्स के लिए ये वीडियो ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है। इसमें बहुत सारे टॉपिक्स छूटे हुए हैं जिनको करने में घंटों लग जाएंगे। So we will see separately the strategies, the technologies, the malpractices and how they can be reformed. So all these बहुत सारे I'm just losing इतना इतना ज़्यादा इसके बारे में PLD, SAPs and certain factors, more factors than cleaning pot and porous capsule irrigation, different types of irrigation, bamboo drip irrigation, percolation tanks. A number of methods are there that we can discuss separately. And see the description box. I'll try to give some of these methods into the description box. Thank you. Press the bell icon and wait for the next upcoming video that will be in Hindi, the water pani ka